All right, coming back at you with part two. This is Chris Baker from the podcast Tell Me Your Story. Today we are talking to James F. Bryan, Floyd Bryan, and he was beginning to tell us about just going after you were second class at Sandusky High School.
Yes, 1957 and 58.
So that would have been about the same time as Jackie Merritt,
She was in my,
Miss America.
well, I didn't find out who she was until I was going to college in Laredo, Texas, and they said, "You're from Ohio, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "What part?" He said, "Sandusky." I said, "Miss America's just got on. I think it was 62. Could be, I don't really remember. But I watched it in black and white on a small TV. Couldn't believe it. I barely recognized who she was. I remember her from the new high school in Sandusky over off of Perkins Ave. I remember her coming to the lunchroom because you could bring your lunch or purchase it there. It wasn't very expensive, like 65 cents or something. I didn't have 65 cents. Uh, but it didn't find out until I was in Laredo, Texas, going to college in Kingsville. And she appeared on the news and people knew I was from Ohio. And I saw her, I recognized her. Wow, that's possible. Anything's possible. So I've spent most of my life, I guess, in Ohio, 20 years in Southern California, which offered me more opportunities than here. But
Hold on before you go further. So when you left Ohio and went back, you were going to Texas. What was it? Was this an ongoing thing? Were you doing this back and forth throughout your entire time in high school, or was this?
no, that was my junior year. I was getting the buzz in the app too much, as we called it back then. That would be Columbus Ave, downtown, and that's where I ended up meeting my wife. But the opportunities for me after I married was I'd been to California twice, and I thought that was the opportunities that I needed. So I went out there. My son and daughter were born in Montebello, California. This is about a quarter of a mile from East LA, where I worked for over 10 years. I also worked in Van Nuys, California, for Anheuser-Busch. I've always worked in packaging industry, corrugate companies, can companies. Was a materials manager of a company.
Hold on, wait. So when you first got out of California, what year is this?
1963. I turned 21.
So what's going on in Hollywood, California during this time period compared to nowadays, where that's where everybody wants to go because they love just Hollywood in general? What was going on then? Who was popular then?
Hollywood was. And I can remember going down there. A friend of mine and I went out there and got a job. And we went out what they called like Buzz in the Air here. We went to Hollywood and Bryan. And it was only from where we were working in East LA, it was like, I don't know, 8 miles. Maybe.
Describe what it was like. Describe what it was like for the person right now that's dreaming, that has that California dream and
I would
going on.
not go. I would suggest finding a place that's more stable. Because in California, you've got to have a lot more going for degrees. And the manufacturing isn't what it used to be. It's Hollywood. I don't know that they have any manufacturing. Always worked in packaging, corrugate companies, can companies.
Is that what you did when you first got out to California?
I went to a friend of mine was working in East LA, so he told me to come out and take a test. And I took a test, and I was 21 years old. I ended up spending 10 years in Continental Can Company.
Where did you What was your living situation when you first got out there?
Sleeping in the car.
Really? Until you were able to afford a place, or?
Yes. We used the title to rent an apartment from a car that we spent jointly less than $200.
It's unheard of nowadays.
$200 for a used car
In California.
in California. Went down to Hollywood and watched the. It was like buzzing the air here back in the day.
Who was the biggest celebrities at that time for you? Who would you have seen in Hollywood at that time?
There was programs on television. My mother worked with film, so we had a television very early on. I must have been mid-50s. So she always sponsored me. If it hadn't been for her, I don't know where I'd be. She and I purchased a brand new home in Laredo, Texas, in my hometown. When I was living in Southern California, with buying houses and sisters.
So wait. You went from living in a car, then you got this job from your friend. And was it the same job that you were able to purchase houses with? Or
It was the same. The company. I spent 2 years in the hourly ranks, and they called me down to the office and had me take a test. There was about 7 or 8 of us took a test. Just simple math for someone that can't spell. That can spell well. The numbers come up easy. It's simple. And I was fairly good at Sandusky High until they got to letters, algebra and stuff. I've always been good with numbers, but I can't spell it.
now, being able to speak English and both Spanish, how much of a factor did that help you?
Incredible. I'm not saying that they were prejudiced, but to see a guy named James Floyd or Bryan, BRYAN, speaking Spanish in East LA in the 50s. No, it was the early 60s. Both my children, my son and daughter, were born in Montebello.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were married during this time period. So was she? Oh, that was when you came back.
Yeah, and then I knew that my future didn't lie here.
Did you just feel like there was more opportunity in California than there was here? Or?
I knew that the opportunities were there. There was no manufacturing. I no doubt it's no apartments. The places that I worked here, it's like I met a lot of interesting people. That's America within some of my classes. Jackie Mayer, and when they told me in Texas when I was going to college, if I was from Sandusky, if I knew that girl and I didn't, I used to see her in the cafeteria. We were the class of '60.
Was she very popular? Or what was going on? Was she just a normal kid?
Normal kid. She struck me in a way that she was anxious to have friends. She would come into the cafeteria. This is 58, 59. And she just was very outgoing, mainly with women. I didn't see her flirting with boys. I don't know if she ever married. I did. But
because shortly after you finished school, you were buzzing the Avenue. It was what, 3 years afterwards?
yeah, this is 1960, early 64. And buzzing the Avenue. This girl pulled over and started talking to me and went from one to another. We hit it off. I was going back to California where things were much better for me, being bilingual.
How did she feel about that, though? About
She went.
packing up once you guys married? Did you have to talk to her about it, or was she sold on the idea of packing up and going to California?
call it Buzz and the Animal. That's what I did. I met her there, and I have two grown children that are in their 50s. Uh, I, I have three grandchildren and a slew of great grandchildren. I think there's 13 of them. Got two state troopers in my kids. Like the Bryans, I call them. One's last name is Bryan, like myself, and my grandson is Bryan, is his first name. I believe one of them, my son, retired lieutenant. Uh, he had his own post, and my grandson I saw recently and realized that he's good 6'6", being cheating 5'8". It's a it's a shock. And you see him in your little cottage, where I retired to. And I looked at him, I'm thinking, oh my God, I know who he is, but I didn't know it was that big. It's like my wife. We were very fortunate. I married a girl from a town called New pure English, and being bilingual, born in the Mexican border. Her family came from India, and I'm thinking, man, there's something wrong with this whole picture. And I had to learn English. And I had been to England with my sister, and they're not like we do. I thought that it would be a simple thing, but it isn't. I'm very close to my daughter. She looks like me and Brad. And
Are you sure it's not you and Drake?
I've been accused of that. But the whiskers kind of give it away. I was with her recently, and it's it's uh, it's it makes me laugh. It's just like we have
Hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So you met her, Buzzing Avenue, your wife, and then you
that's what
guys.
people did back in the 50s and 60s.
Then once you get to California, what does she end up doing? Is she just a stay-at-home wife, or
She we needed to make we were living in an apartment in East LA, and it was very difficult. She was very good at things. Take she could type, she could do all kinds of things. But she was very instrumental in her success, more so than myself. I was good with numbers. She was just a very hardworking woman.
what did she end up doing?
Uh, she worked in an office. Uh, we purchased a home before we had children in a place called Rolling Heights. It's on the outskirts, almost to San Bernardino, into another county. But my children were born in East LA, Montebello, actually, my son and daughter. I've seen them recently in the last 2 weeks, and it's difficult. I see my daughter and me in a lot of factors, good and bad, and I'm being judgmental of myself, not her. She's my child, but she has some bad habits like myself, and it's like inheritance. There's no way that I could stop it, so I just had to go along with her recently.
How does that feel? I mean, because I know
Looking at yourself,
a lot of people can relate to it, but for the person that doesn't have any kids yet, and that you could say you can see yourself a lot in your child. How does that feel? Does it make you kind of chuckle a little bit? Like, man, I can't believe I was like that. She got that from me.
I guess I'd be very judgmental of her. I saw, even in high school, in high school. My children were born in Montebello, but we moved back here, got a divorce in '72.
Wait, why did you guys get divorced?
I married someone that I had only known for two months.
It just had a falling out in California. What happened?
I was immature. I I still had a lot of play, and I wasn't settled. I thought that you know I was going to get by with it. It didn't do it.
Oh, so you were playing around.
Uh, in those words, yes, uh, things came to me there very easily. With 2 years in the ranks and being bilingual in East LA.
So you just had, or was it the status that you had that in the company that just attracted women to, or what was it? What was going on?
I think being bilingual in East LA opened up many doors. But I'm good at math. Can't spell a lick, but I'm good at basic math, and that's all it was. It was simple. Um, it wasn't doing formulas and stuff. It was just basics. It was production work. We had hundreds of designs. Shasta was our biggest. They had like 30 some uh, flavors and then diets. So I could keep track of those things. They got me into the office within 4 years of being there. I was in the front office and had the biggest accounts. I had hundreds of flavors. I mean, I would schedule, if orders would come in, and schedule them into the lithography.
How long was it? How long had you been in California before you reached that status? For
Four
you,
years.
4 years.
2 years, I was went to salary from hourly. I was good with numbers, basic numbers. I can't spell basic numbers. It's simple, but I was good at I had Sandusky. The math teacher thought I could do algebra because I was doing shop math. And, and the numbers just threw me when you start putting the letters in, formulas and stuff. But basic numbers, just simple basic numbers. The calculators, my God, just and I made it to the front office. I'm being a clerk after 4 years. I'm in the front office of this company that has over 1,200 employees. People were coming up to me. I had the basic. I had the largest accounts. Uh, and having worked in the room, the plant floor where we ran the products, the scheduling them was very easy. Came to me. I was good with numbers, basic numbers, and people I don't understand. But then other people spell very well, and they don't understand why I can't spell. It's like Philco, my mother was like Philco. You'd think it would be an F. Well, it's PH, company that was purchased by me. But yeah, we're going to California was awesome. Uh, it just worked out real well. My two children, son and daughter, uh, who I was with recently, this last couple of weeks, I look at them and I'm thinking, man, there's something. I look at them and it's me, like that, in Wayne's outfit with my daughter and my son. It's me. I have a grandson that's like 6'6", and I'm thinking my mother was 5 foot and my sister was 5'1", and they were cheating. And it's like, man, open up the door. Can't spell numbers. They're basic.
What would you say was the most challenging thing you faced in that time period working for that company?
In terms of what threw me off, I met someone
Oh, outside stuff got you distracted.
You know, and she worked for a company, and she had lost her husband in Vietnam, and my brother was in Vietnam. We became friends. She told me that she was having trouble with a dream. If I could come over, and I knew that she was a widow. Um, and I went and helped her, and one thing led to another. Sidetracked. Uh, Not proud of it, but to be honest, that's what happened. I look at my daughter now, that's 50, she was born in 1967, and I look at her and I see her making the same mistakes, and you can't help it. You know, it's like she looks like me and Bryan, and she just the same faults. You know, this last couple of weeks I was with my daughter for a while, and then the son showed up in a convertible, state troopers. My grandson and son were state troopers. And I'm thinking, Jesus, you know, it's like, what is, you know, it's like, if I had written something, I would have never given all of this. I never expected it. I came from humble beginnings. I worked in the fields, not for very long, but that separated me in California from hourly to salary. And pretty soon, within 2 years, I was, after 4 years of the company, 2 years in hourly salary. Um, Actually, they paid me hourly. Then I made it to the front office. And I was there for over 3 years. I worked for Anheuser-Busch in Van Nuys, California for 4+ years. And I was buying a home every year and investing. My mother and I purchased a brand new home in Laredo, Texas in 1979. She was driving my sister crazy. And he's paying me $100. Uh, it's math that separated. I can't spell, but it's a good. I'm not rich by any means, but I don't need to work anymore. People don't think that I'm the age that I am.
How old are you?
I'm 81.
You ain't no 81.
I was born October 14th of 1942 during World War II. My brother was in Vietnam in 68, 69. He used to send me bottles of whiskey in 5-gallon squares. And I would seal them, and he still is. And we didn't have the straw, the foam. So we had wooden shavings. I would pack them with 2 ends and ship them through the company mail to Vietnam. And the company knew what I was doing, and they just like, you know, it was part of the war effort. Vietnam, very unpopular war. My brother was very injured there. Basically, he was in the Philippines, Subic Bay twice. He was a Marine. Her grandson that also came out of the Marine Corps. His name is Bryan.
So you were sending bottles from California?
Through the company
Wow.
in a 5-gallon square with 2 ends, and they knew what I was doing. They just looked the other way because we were it.
What was like, so during that time period, Vietnam and everything going on, what was going on in our country? Was it making it
The hippies,
the hippie movement?
Londoners, were protesting, about Vietnam and this and that. And my brothers were over there, and I'm thinking, he's serving his country. And now you're criticizing. We must back our country no matter what. We can disagree, but it's our country. Vote, go and vote. Get those people out. Uh, but yeah, my brother went to Vietnam. My grandson served in the Marines also. He's now a state trooper. Uh, big guy, 6'6", and when you're 5'7", you know, it's a wee bit kind of, it's like I have a cottage, small cottage, where I retired to in my neighborhood. I grew up in that area.
So when you came back from California after being out there, and you're a big time out there because you said you were buying houses left and right, getting houses with your mother in Laredo, and then once you
Which
came,
I just sold last year.
once you got back here to Ohio, was it just a big change? What was going on?
It seemed to be. I went through a divorce that I created, that I caused, to a woman that didn't deserve me. She deserved better. But out of that, I have a son and a daughter, and now I believe it's 3 grandchildren. And then they sent me a picture recently, and there's a whole bunch of kids. And they said, "Those are your great grandchildren." I'm thinking, holy cow.
81. 81, your great great grandfather.
Great grandfather. And I'm thinking, when these children, the son and daughter were born, they the children of my marriage were born in East LA, Montebello, California. And now I look at my daughter, and she's 56 maybe. She was born in 1967. My son was born in 1965. State trooper. And I call them the Bryans because the 2 state troopers, one is named last name Bryan, and the other one is his first name is Bryan.
Wait, so what did you do when you came here to Ohio? Were you still working in the factories? Were you still working for the breweries? What was?
I managed the job in 1971 when I came back here. My marriage was falling apart. And I went to work for a furniture shop. And
Well, that's a big change.
well, it's numbers again. I could keep track of furniture, and it was like simple. If some people get confused, it's just basic, simple. Simple math. I'm not a mathematician or anything. It's just basics. You go to Mexico, and these people, they're geniuses. Don't ever mess with these people. These, I've learned, when I was in Southern California, being bilingual in East LA was a very big asset. When my children were born in Montebello, it was a quarter of a mile from East LA.
Wait, was it Herman's that you said you were working for?
I have one of the owners, but his mother is a friend of mine who lives 4 blocks away right now.
So it's kind of like you're up where you grew up in your neighborhood. You knew this guy.
I'm 4 blocks away from where I grew up. I went to, we came here in 1947. I went to St. Mary's, first and second grade. Then I went to, I was 1 year in Margaret. Then I went to Barker, before it was Barker. It has a different reputation today. But I had a 6th grade teacher that taught to us about World War II and getting rations there and stuff. And I'm thinking about my brother sending him, those bottles of whiskey to Vietnam, and he was very popular in the Marine Corps. His last name is Dion, like Ponce de Leon. He survived Vietnam, but he didn't survive since he was born. He OD'd in 2012. My sister still lives in Laredo. Tyrese contact with her. Another and I purchased a brand new model home in 1979, and I never intended to live there. So it was it was a quarter of a mile from the nicest, biggest mall in the interstate leading out to San Antonio. I recently had someone put it up for sale, and gone in 2 weeks.
And you saw, like,
They paid me more than I was selling it for.
so you bought it for cheaper than what you sold it for. And you own that house for,
Well, since 1979 to
how many years would that be?
give me a pencil and I'll tell you that. let's say 21 years last century. Okay, so you add that 21 to 24, 45. And
There it is, right there, folks. Numbers got.
more than triple. I told my sister, she said, that was your house, your mom. I don't have anything in there. But I found out someone was trying to get someone that had the same name as myself.
Somebody was trying to be you, but wasn't you, and they were trying to sell your house.
Well, they wanted the proceeds. They didn't succeed. In fact, there was somehow it leaked out, and he's no longer a state trooper, but he's the chief of police. Then I'll go back, and we had the same name, and he tried to press the office, and it was his house, and it just he's no longer a state trooper.
But
Nothing to do with somebody that called her wife.
so, coming back to Ohio, you got divorced. You're working at Herman's Furniture. What was going on during that time period? Did you ever get remarried? Did you struggle with anything afterwards?
With the furniture?
Yeah, did you ever have any addictions that you struggled with? Now that you were single, you were a bachelor, you have...
You might say women. And I don't mean that facetiously that it was there. It was mine. I make the decisions to do things that harm my family.
Well, at this time, too, you also had the state stores, which a lot of people don't realize were the liquor stores.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. I can remember the state stores. There was one on Washington over there. I can tell you where the state stores were. Living in California, where you could go to the liquor store at the market. Wines, beers. California was quite an example of freedom. My son and daughter were both born there, and I was with both of them in the last couple of weeks. Cleared up some things that I thought that somebody was forging my name to sell my house. And Laredo, he said, no, it wasn't me. And I said, well, this is all the information I have. He says, it's forged. So all I had the check, everything. They're coming to. I joined AA about 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because you said during Vietnam, it was you were giving stuff to your brother. Did you ever get involved in that alcohol, liquor? Did you smoke?
No. At that time, you could in California. You went to the liquor store. You went to Myers here. Myers sells whiskey, don't
Yeah.
In California, it's always been like
No, I'm asking, did you ever get involved in that? Did you drink? Did you smoke? Were you clean living?
I I tried to smoke. My brother was sending bottles of whiskey.
Kids, kids, God love them.
But yeah, I look at it back now. I mean, I've been sober 12 years, the longest period of my life. I got drunk in first grade with my stepdad. He was babysitting me and my sister, and I off and on, off and on. But I've been sober for 12 years, the longest period of my life. I worked at Anheuser-Busch for 4+ years, never tasted it. It's too dangerous. High speed equipment, 1,000 bottles a minute. I was a foreman there. I saw that it was too dangerous for me. But I've worked in the petrochemical industry, 3 corrugate companies, 3 can companies. For the company, I was a materials manager for a company that we did WD-40, 55-gallon drums out the road. So I've worked in all ends. Uh, the manufacturing of cans, the manufacturing
But somebody just asked, have you seen any like fatalities? Did you ever see fingers go flying in the warehouse?
yeah.
And do you have any injuries yourself? Here, put it like right here.
8 stitches. That's from a bottle at Anheuser-Busch. They said I was careless. I was standing away from the machine with my hands looking at it, and bottles explode. They're under pressure.
You just happen to be right there at the wrong time.
On the front, I'm running this machine, telling me what, and 1,000 bottles a minute.
1,000 bottles a minute. I can only imagine how fast it's moving.
Yeah, I got awards for being, because they put me on high speed equipment. I was young. And going home, you might say. I never tasted a beer. I don't drink now. But it was so dangerous. I picked up thumbs. People, there was high speed equipment in Anheuser-Busch. I was a foreman there. It's dangerous around high speed. When you can go to the break room and the refrigerator is filled with shorts.
No, thank you. Not when they're moving 1,000 bottles a minute.
But imagine you've got a job making buku bucks, and you're there 7 days a week. Your boy,
Well, I'm thinking to myself, you're sober in this time period, working for a factory like this, and at that same time,
and buying a house every year
you're buying.
California.
The only thing you're doing is buying houses. Yeah. You're living your best life.
Every time I quit drinking, good things happen to me. And now I realize that, it's me. It's not the bottle, it's not the equipment, it's me.
So right there, right now in this moment, somebody that's struggling with alcohol, and you've been sober 12 years, what would you say to that person right now?
We have meetings that I have attended for the last 12 years. But when COVID came, I stopped. I couldn't be around other people that were sick. When I'm a father, grandfather, great grandfather also, I have kept track. But my daughter sent me a picture of her and her husband. Her first husband died. She buried him. He was a super nice guy.
Like, what would you say to the person that is struggling with addiction to alcohol? How would you stop it?
Get help. You can't do it on your own. Get help. There's every out there. There's doctors that can help you. There's hospital. There are people that are here. I used to go to meetings until COVID. For the last 12 years, in the last year, I can't be around people because I have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So I can't afford for me to lose my income. although I don't work anymore, I get Social Security. And I waited until I was.
I gotta begin to wrap this thing up. But I just simply want to say thank you for coming on.
Get help if you need it.
And tell your story. Well, I'll ask you 3 questions. Well, actually, I'll change it up this time. You could ask me 3 questions to end this. Go ahead.
What are you going to do with this tape?
Okay.
What are you going to do with this tape?
I'm going to share it to the world.
Help someone if you can.
Yep, that's the whole idea.
When COVID hit, everything fell apart. People were couldn't go to groups. And I chose to, because I have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, that I could expose myself. And I've been sober 12 years, and I'd never thought about it. Didn't have a clue. And now I do have a clue. And it's bigger than you think. There's a lot of people that are willing to help you because they've gone through it. You could take somebody's life out and drive it from, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The buzz isn't worth it. You get a hangover, you lose money, you put that before your family or your loved ones, I would say.
All right. Second question. What else would you like to ask?
If you have any suggestions, share them with people. There's a big A started. There's a place in Akron, Canada, that we used to meet at with COVID. Changed everything. We don't get together because you're infecting them. I'm a leader. I mean, I have people in my neighborhood within 4 blocks that I've known for 47 years, and we went through this together.
All right. I'll ask you one last question before we wrap it up. Where's your favorite place to eat?
And where?
If you had to tell anybody right now that's watching this, that's coming through Sandusky, Ohio, they had to stop at this one location to get something to eat, where are you telling them to go?
On Perkins Avenue, there's a Mexican restaurant near the high school. And Casa something like
El Patron.
El Patron. The pronunciation. El Patron.
El Patron.
Yeah, roll those R's. And they had problems with this thing that, with the grid. It's hurt everybody. But this is the greatest nation since the Romans. You've never heard that.
Speak to the Hispanic people right now that are watching and listening. What would you like to say to them?
Si tienes problema con licor o drogas, por favor, hay ayuda. Si la buscas. I get emotional. I see people suffer. I see people lose guns and stuff. I've been fortunate enough that Ohio has got a huge. They have meetings in Akron Canton where they start. People don't realize how big it is. I've been to conferences I lived in the Bay Area, and my company sent me up there to close a plant down. And beautiful, incredible.
Not to cut you off, but gotta say thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is your host, Chris Baker. You just heard a part of James Floyd's our story. Until next time, peace out. Say goodbye.
Bye.